Today I have with me a fantastic bunch of leaders in the digital payment space. To say that they're representing the top companies in India would be an understatement. Today's discussion is largely going to be about what digital payments infrastructure change, the revolution, the evolution has done for this country, the opportunities that exist. I can't even begin to tell you what lies ahead, but we're going to discuss about what has happened and the opportunities for businesses as well as business owners such as you that are present today, how these opportunities are now evolving. So we have, I can let everybody very quickly just say one line about their company and themselves so that you can relate with them better, and then we'll start the discussion. Tanya, I'll let you do the one.
Thanks and good morning to everybody. It's truly an honor to be part of this panel among such esteemed speakers, and lovely to see all of you here. My name is Tanya. I work for PayPal. PayPal, as you know, is one of the oldest financial payments company. It's present in over 200 countries, 100 plus currencies. We serve over 18 million merchants and 270 million consumers worldwide. And I work for the payments team in India. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashneer. I'm the founder of this company, BharatPay. At BharatPay, we put out UPI QR codes at long-tail merchants. So basically, what we're trying to do is, promote mobile payments using UPI at offline retail.
Hi everyone. My name is Vikas Bansal. I head up financial services and new payments within Amazon Pay. What Amazon Pay is, we are on a mission to make it the most convenient and rewarding way to pay and get 100% digital payments penetration in India. And we, as you know, we work very closely with Amazon Marketplace as well as all other leading merchants now in India.
Hello everyone, I am Puneet Jain. I built and lead online merchant payments at Paytm. Paytm, of course, is a market leader in this space, and I consider myself fortunate to be part of this journey for the last 5 years.
Hi everyone, I am Akash. I am founder of Cashfree. Cashfree is a payment technology startup. So we help businesses collect payments online and disburse money at scale. Our focus has been, to build a right infrastructure stack for businesses in India, and we are moving in that direction, one day at a time.
Thanks, Akash. Thanks everybody for having me here today. Good morning. My name is Rohit, and I lead Payoneer in India. Payoneer is a cross-border B2B payments platform, which largely means that any person who has a business wants to export whether goods or services and wants to collect money across various currencies, various countries, we offer them a seamless platform to do it at one go. That's what Payoneer does.
The first thing that comes to mind when we talk about digital payments story in India so far is the way the government as well as the way the players in the ecosystem have transitioned payments infrastructure from before to now, how they've digitized it and how it is helping both the business side as well as the consumer side. I'm going to take my first question with Vikas. Amazon Pay today is one of the interesting formats that are coming in. We know that, I'll take it from Paytm also. We know that demonetization led to this influx of consumers getting onto the digital platform. They were forced to it, and now I think they enjoy it. I want to know from you, how well do you think international companies like Amazon will be able to position themselves in India? Before we understand the India story, I want to know what the foreign players are thinking.
Sure. So one thing I want to say is that we are an Indian company run by Indians, though we have investors that are foreign investors. So right, we are absolutely run by Indians in India. In terms of Amazon Pay, as you know, Amazon globally works really backwards from the customer. So it is all about what customer needs and pain points are, and can we develop solutions that can really meet those needs. And this is what we are on a mission. And then what we are thinking through is, when it comes to payments is a very vast space, right? It impacts every industry, from any retail to everything it covers. And then because of that reach, we cannot force fit one payment method on the customer. Customer needs to have the choice of payment method. So that is why we are saying, if customer is a credit card user, we want to offer them a credit card. If the customer has bank payments, we want to do UPI, we want to do debit cards. We want to offer all suite of solutions, so that the customers have a choice. And then the other thing we are saying is that in India, we are realizing is that, because of this such a small penetration of digital payments, that we really need to create that habit, right? And it is really, really early days. And I think for all of us here, there is so much opportunity to really penetrate, and all of us will win, and the customers will win as well when we really grow this space. And this requires a lot of collaboration and partnership with each other, with banks, with new fintech companies, and that's how we are thinking about it.
The great part about partnerships, the one that Vikas mentioned, is the multiple partnerships that can be established by Paytm to facilitate businesses as well as consumers. How has the digital story changed for Paytm in the last 1 year, and how are you looking to actually take this digital revolution ahead in terms of payments? Because as Vikas mentioned, from the consumer choice, from a debit card to whether using a wallet or whether using another format of access of payment is something that I'm sure a company like yours is closely looking at.
Sure. So first, allow me to break the digital payment system from the perspective of customers and merchants, so that we understand where the opportunity lies for Paytm and everyone else. So typically, the way we see it, there is a financial account which is a typical savings account, a current account, or a wallet, or a credit, which customer uses for a source of funds. Then we have a form factor, which is like a method or a medium which customer uses to complete transactions. So your cards, your cash is actually a form factor. And then mobile, which has emerged to be the biggest form factor which everyone is leveraging. And then followed by acceptance infrastructure on the merchant side, which traditionally used to be ADC machine, or where customers can come and swipe cards, or your payment gateway in the online parlance. And now we have the things like QR codes, which are far more ubiquitous and far more scalable. So what we have done at Paytm, and I think this is what all industry leaders are also trying to do, is figure out opportunities of innovation in this value chain. So probably with wallet, what we did was leverage mobile as a medium to reach out to a large number of users, which possibly couldn't have been done from cards alone. And we created things like account tokenization to create a seamless consumer experience. Then happened UPI, another huge outcome of Indian digital payments success story. It further built a mobile-first payment method, which leverages the fact that every one of us are carrying smartphones, and this market is only growing from here. So, and similarly on the infrastructure acceptance side, we created QR codes, which allowed us to reach out to the large number of SMEs and micro merchants spread across the country in a much more scalable and economically feasible way. So essentially, there are a lot of innovations happening in this second and third layer. This first layer is more or less regulated, so the innovation is more gradual in nature. But what wallets and UPI have done is democratize the payment system for everybody. So now everybody outside banks, which are earlier the custodians of payment system, can come up and set up their consumer-facing platforms, create consumer accounts, and dip into these payment methods and start building consumer-friendly, business-friendly payment mechanisms. So this has been, according to me, the real changes over the last few years, and I think at Paytm will continue to focus on these opportunities to further improve consumer experience.
about consumer first, mobile first, and also innovation. In your experience, what has worked the best for consumers, and where do you think the positioning today has to be for a company like yours?
See, Cashway is a B2B company, but our aim has always been to help businesses provide best experience to their customers. Right. So with the rise in digital payments, customers have been able to pay for their orders quickly. Right. If I can scan a QR code or scan the Paytm QR code, money leaves my account like within 5 seconds or 10 seconds. But when it comes to refunds, then customers have always been to wait for 7 days, 10 days to get the money back, and there has always been discontent among the customers. They always come back saying, "Ki, you debit my money instantly, but you take like 10 days to give the money back." Right. So there we focus primarily and work with merchants to help them ease these kind of payment methods. Right. So be it like sending the refund faster to the customer, or paying wage for your on-demand service provider, right, or paying to your customer for the rewards on the website like cashback and all. Right, so this cannot be solved just by making things easier for the customer. The entire experience, the customer experience also depends on what businesses are using. Right, if businesses are not using the right tool, then customer experience will suffer at some point of time, because we have to see the entire life cycle as experience, not just the payment part. Right, so we come like at the other side of the the court, and we try to improve things from that angle.
Rohit, do you feel that businesses today have a lot more choice than what they had before in terms of the payment gateways? Of course, wallets are not the only platforms available. And how much can businesses really, make their offering better? Because digital payments, specifically payments, is a very, very unique and personalized consumer experience, and it affects a business in a large way.
You're right, and I think if I had to kind of take the Uber level approach of what does this mean and bifurcate this, there are actually many things that have happened in digital payments, and some of these have driven many more benefits just beyond making the money move from cash to non-cash methods of payment. And some of the drivers here, and I would like to talk about some value drivers, are things like India Stack, right? So you have Aadhaar in it, you have UPI in it, bunch of things that are there in it, right? What has that made possible is a cashless layer, of course, which we talk about, a presence-less layer. They talk about consent, where if you look at Europe, for example, they're talking about GDPR now, but we came up with a consent layer much earlier, where we wanted the user actually to participate with the business, both as a consumer and a business, to make it completely a pull mechanism. If you look back at how developed economies are, people were very much economically rich before they were data rich. So it was, you bought a mobile phone, here you can now buy a case cover for it. You bought a television, please take Tata Sky for it, or whatever the other benefits were. So it was advertising led. In India, we are now much more data rich because of digitalization than we are economically rich. India's PPP is probably 1/20th of that of, let's say, US, right? So users in India will have the choice of pull. They will be able to select what they want. Today, if as a business, my rating is much higher than anyone else's because I have a very strong business, my customers like my products, they like the service that I offer, I can go to any provider, whether it's a bank or a fintech, and ask for a finance or a loan, which is at a much lower rate because I know the value of my data, right? So that's the change that cashless or digitalization is driving. Even as I talk about lending, which is another element in that, probably most of the transactions when it happened at a merchant level were cash. There was never a trace. So if I combine digitalization and GST, there is now a trace. So today or earlier, when I had to borrow from money lenders at probably 24, 30, 60 APRs, I can now go to organized capital providers and borrow at a much lower rate. So these are the value drivers that are getting done in the system, and that's something which is over and above just the form factor of which Puneet spoke about, which are really big things that are happening. And I guess a bunch of things on the consumer side also that are happening in terms of EMI and stuff like that, which probably PayPal or Amazon can touch upon. But overall, pretty exciting times for us. to see these new developments happen and overall improvements that we see in the way things are getting done.
Today, bringing mobile payments to retail stores has become extremely important. Everything happens digitally, but how do you bring mobile payments also to digital stores? Do you feel that UPI could be the game changer there? And do you think that businesses today are using UPI and they are also in the position to be able to pivot themselves better, facilitated by this payment process?
Yeah, so UPI बहुत ही बड़ा गेम चेंजर है एज फार एज आई थिंक इन द मार्केट बिकॉज अभी तक हो क्या रहा है कि अगर आप पेमेंट्स देखिए बेसिकली है क्या कि आपको एक बंदे से पैसा लेना है और दूसरे को देना है, करेक्ट? और बीच में जो भी पेमेंट कंपनी है वो अपना एक टोलिंग लगा के बैठी है कि यार मैं 2% बीच में लूँगा, ठीक है? आई थिंक दैट इज़ द बिगेस्ट डिससर्विस विच हैपन्स इन द पेमेंट इंडस्ट्री बिकॉज टेक्निकली अगर आपने एक इंडिविजुअल से एक इंडिविजुअल को पैसा दिया या आपने एक इंडिविजुअल से बिजनेस को दिया, कंप्यूटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी में कोई फर्क नहीं है। आफ्टर यूपीआई तो बिल्कुल ही फर्क नहीं है, राइट? तो मैं अगर पैसा एक अपने फ्रेंड को दे रहा हूँ 3,000 रुपये या मैं एक दुकानदार को दे रहा हूँ 3,000 रुपये, तो उस दुकानदार के क्यों 60 रुपये कट रहे हैं उसमें, राइट? एंड यूपीआई आने के बाद मेरे को लग रहा है जो सबसे बड़ा चेंज हो सकता है, एंड यू नो एज पेमेंट्स कंपनीज हमको थोड़ा अपना आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा कि यार टोलिंग का माइंडसेट हटाओ। सिंपल सी बात यह है कि अगर कोई आपको 2,000 रुपये का नोट देके जाता है, आपकी हाथ में भी 2,000 रुपये का ही नोट आता है, ठीक है? एंड दैट्स वाई जो रिटेलर है वो कैश लेके खुश है, उसको वाइट ब्लैक का कुछ नहीं पड़ा, उसको भी पता है कि वाइट में ही धंधा करना है आगे जाके, बट उसको ये है कि यार अगर मैं पेमेंट्स लेने के लिए कार्ड्स स्वाइप करता हूँ या मैं किसी का क्यूआर कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा 1.5 से 2 टका कट जाता है, इसलिए उसको हिचक है। सो आई थिंक जो सबसे बड़ा चेंज फंडामेंटली आने वाला है वो ये है कि जो P2P पेमेंट्स हैं और जो P2M पेमेंट्स हैं उसका डिफरेंस खत्म होने वाला है। एंड टेक्निकली वो डिफरेंस खत्म होगा तभी जब आप बोलोगे कि यार मर्चेंट के लिए भी पेमेंट फ्री है। उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि एज पेमेंट कंपनी आपको पेमेंट्स दे के एक एंट्री मिल जाएगी दुकान में, आप उसके ऊपर बिजनेस क्या बनाते हो अब आपको सोचना है, राइट? अब वो टोलिंग वाला धंधा चला गया। आज रिटेलर भी बहुत समझदार है, उसको पता है कि यार 2% अगर मैं दे रहा हूँ, 6% का मेरा मार्जिन है, मैं 25% प्रॉफिट तो पेमेंट कंपनीज को दे रहा हूँ, मैं कमा क्या रहा हूँ उसमें।
Take it from you, Tanya, because PayPal, of course, a lot of exports and other activities are done via PayPal. Very significant for businesses today to understand that why are they paying that 2% extra, which Ashneer is mentioning, to the payments company. Till now, the discussion was that there is no other way around. But do you see that there is another way around, and do you think that payment gateways and payment companies are actually rethinking their business model to be able to facilitate this merchant who wants to make use of this evolved thought?
No, of course, and I think more than payment companies, there is so much policy work that has gone into making the entire payment system affordable in itself. I want to tell you, when I started my career as a banker, I used to handle cash management, cash being the operative word for a large telecom company. And I used to get calls on a daily basis from 5 or 7 collection heads, asking me whether the check has been picked up, whether the cash has been picked up. Sometimes I used to get frantic calls on, the fact that someone was held at gunpoint and the cash van actually was stolen. And those kind of things used to make me always wonder, and we used to ask the collections team as to why is it that consumers are not adapting to electronic payments. And back then, IMPS had just taken off. Wallets was, of course, picking up steam in the market. And the team used to constantly tell me, what, it is easy for the consumer to walk into a store, pay by check, pay by cash. It's nice to have a receipt at the end of the day, and it is also nice to know that my payment is secure with a receipt, and I can close a lot of disputes, I can close a lot of inquiries while I'm at the store. They did mention that, yeah, we do have digital payments at that point of time, but it was an idea whose time had not yet come. And for the merchant, which is the likes of a telecom company, who of course have a lot more margins to talk through at that point of time, and for small and medium scale merchants, I think the biggest repellent for digital payments was the cost of actually acquiring a transaction. And then, of course, we had a watershed moment post which a lot of things came together. There was a seamless partnership that we saw across payment companies, banks, technology companies, and policymakers who worked towards creating a framework which was truly, I think, world class, way ahead of its time. We had UPI, which was nothing but an abstraction of a bank account and an ID. Then you had open APIs, which made it possible for companies like us to, facilitate fund transfers in spite of not being in banking. It was affordable, it was cheap because the regulator made it possible in a way where those payments were subsidized for merchants and for consumers alike, and that's where it kind of led towards. So I think so much work has happened. We do have a lot more to conquer, but as a consumer, if we focus on the three things that we heard back then, which was convenience, safety, security, and the assurance that while it's still digital, there is a human touch available. And for merchants, we need to make sure that the infrastructure is cheap and cost affordable. That's my take on it.